Hello, we're back again. My name is Lance Edward G. Hoven, your previous teacher for basic calculus. So, today we'll be diving into pre-calculus, the different type of conic sections. So, there are four different types: circle, parabola, ellipse, hyperbola. But today we'll just be tackling the first conic section, circle. The meaning of circle is a set Circle is the set of all points in a plane that is equidistant to a specific point called the center. We will be solving for two equations. The standard equation, which is x minus h raised to 2 plus y minus k raised to 2 equals r squared, where h and k is the center and r is the length of the radius. And next will be the general equation, which is specified as ax squared plus by squared plus cx plus dy plus e is equals to 0. Um, where a, b, c, d, e of r, a equals b, a comma b is not equal to 0. So today for our first example will be standard to general equation. So our center will be 4 minus 1 plus, with the radius of 7. So the first thing we will be doing is inputting it to the standard equation. So it will be x minus 4, since it's a positive number and we will be adding it to a negative number, it will be negative. Then raised to 2 plus y minus, since our k here is negative 1. So negative plus negative, it's gonna be positive. So it's going to be positive 1 raised to 2 equals r, oh no, equals 7 squared. So our first step we'll be doing is squaring the 7. So let's just copy everything. 4 plus y plus 1 squared equals to 7 times 7 is going to be 49. The next step we will be doing is multiplying every variable with 2, since it's raised to 2. So our x is going to be x squared. Then it's going to be 4 times x is 4x. Then the raised to 2, it's going to be 4 times 2, it's going to be 8x. Then plus, now we will be getting the next variable, it's going to be 4 raised to 2. So it's going to be 4 times 4. Since 4 times 4 is 16, the variable will be 16. Then plus, then we will be just repeating it here. Then y squared plus, then it's going to be 1 times y is 1y. Then next going to be multiplying it by 2. It's going to be 2y. Then plus, since this is just going to be 1 times 1, our variable will just be 1, then equals to 49. Then we'll be grouping the like terms. So it's going to be x squared plus y squared minus 8x. Then next is plus 2y plus 16 plus 1 equals to 49. Since the next step we'll be adding the like terms. So it's going to be 6. So the like terms we'll be adding is this 2. 16 plus 1. It's going to be 17. Then our variable will be x squared plus y squared minus 8x plus 2y plus 17 equals to 49. Then the next step will be we'll be moving 49 to the left hand side. So it's positive, so it will be negative. Since our general equation formula is ax squared plus by squared plus cx plus dy plus e equals to 0. So our variable will be needed to be 0 here. So we'll be moving 49 to the left hand side. So the equation will be 4x ix squared plus 2y squared minus 8x plus 2y plus 17. Since negative, since we'll be moving to it to the left hand side, it's going to be negative 49. So equals to 0. Then the last step we will be subtracting these two factors, will be negative 32. Okay. Uh, x squared plus y squared minus 8x plus 2y plus, since 17 minus 49 is negative, the answer is going to be negative 32 equals to 0. Then that will be our final answer. The final answer will be x squared plus y squared minus 8x plus 2y minus 32 equals to 0. So the next example will be general to standard equation with this equation of x squared plus y squared plus 6x minus 7 equals to 0. So the first thing we'll be doing, like what we did here, is going to be grouping the like terms. So it will be x squared plus 6x plus y squared, and we will be moving 7 to the right hand side. Since we are moving it to the right hand side, it's going to be positive. So it's going to be positive 7. So the next step is we're going to be finding the missing variable here. And x squared plus 6x plus blank plus y squared equals to 7. The first step we'll be doing is, since it's divisible by 2, we'll be dividing it by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. Then what is and we'll be raising it to 2 since we have a variable which is raised to 2. So it's going to be 3 times 3 equals to 9. So the equation will be x squared plus 6x plus 9 plus y squared equals to 7. Since we added a new variable here, we need to balance the equation out. So we will be adding a 9 here. So it's going to be plus 9. Then, then for our final step, it's going to be remove adding 7 plus 9 and removing 9 from the equation. Since we divided this by 2, it's going to be x plus 3 raised to 2 plus y squared equals to 16. So that is our final answer. That is general form to standard equation. So our center will be C uh, x to negative 3 comma 0, since there is no second variable here, so it's going to be 0, equals to, and our r is going to be equals to square root of 16, right? Wait, let me double check. Anyway, our r is going to be 16, and that is how to solve standard to general equation and general to standard equation. Before we end our video for today, we'll be ending it with a joke. Why did the circle get kicked out of the Conic section group chat? Because it couldn't stay in shape. It kept going around in circles in every discussion.
Parabola is a set of points that is equidistant to a specific fixed point and a fixed line. So a parabola has a two standard equation that is depending on its axis. So we have a vertical and horizontal parabola. So when we say vertical parabola, it simply means our parabola opens upside or downward. Its standard equation is quantity x minus h quantity squared is equals to 4p multiplied by y minus k. And for our horizontal parabola, quantity y minus k quantity squared is equals to 4p multiplied by x minus h. Okay, so next are the things that we should consider in identifying a parabola. First is it should have only one squared term. And the second one is it should have a two variable. So our equation here is definitely a parabola since it has two variable, which is the x and y, and a one squared term only, which is the x variable. So now here are the properties of parabola. We have our axis, which is the horizontal and vertical. Horizontal axis means its opening is to the left or right. And vertical axis means it opens upward or downward. So now for the vertex of our horizontal parabola, it is v quantity h comma k. And then for our focus, it would be f quantity h plus p comma k. Then our directrix would be x is equals to h minus p. And then lastly, our latus rectum would be just 4p. Okay, so for our vertical parabola, its vertex would just be the same as our horizontal, v quantity h comma k. And then for its focus would be f quantity h comma k plus p. It's just the opposite of our horizontal. And then our directrix also is just the opposite of our horizontal. I'm sorry, that's y is equals to k minus p. And our latus rectum is just the same for p. Okay, now so let's try to solve this equation. As you can see, this equation is a horizontal parabola based on its square term. So now we'll transform this into our standard equation, so we'll be able to get its properties. And the first step is we will group like terms. So as you can see, y squared plus 2y then equals 4x plus minus 17. I'm sorry. So as you can see, the signs changed since we transform the left hand side's 1 into our right hand side. I'm sorry, the 4x is negative 4x. And now we'll have to expand our left hand side. That would be y squared plus 2y plus 1. And then since we'll be completing the square, we have to balance our equation. So we'll add 1 onto our right hand side also. So that would be 4x minus 17 plus 1. Okay, now let's perform our necessary operations. So negative 17 plus 1, different signs. So we'll subtract them and then copy the sign of the larger number. So that will be negative 16. And then let's factor out our left hand side. That will be quantity 1 plus, since there's no negative signs, that would be plus 1 quantity squared. Then let's just copy down for x minus 16. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's factor out 4 since they have common factor, which is 4. So that would be 4 multiplied by x minus 4. Okay, so there we already got our standard equation, which is quantity y plus 1 quantity squared is equals to 4 quantity x minus 4. Okay, so since we already got our standard equation, let's try to find our horizontal parabola's property. So our horizontal parabola opens to the right, and then to be able to find the other properties, we must determine our h, k, and p first. So our h, let's look at our standard equation. So basically, our h is positive 4. Let's switch their signs. And then our k, 1, that would be negative 1. Then the next one is, and then our p is 1. So now we'll be able to identify the other properties. Our vertex is h comma k, so v quantity 4 comma negative 1. Okay, so now next is the focus. That will be f quantity. Let's look at our properties here. So the focus in horizontal parabola is f quantity h plus p. So let's add our h and p here, which is 4 plus 1. So that would be 5 comma negative 1. Let's just copy our k. And then the next one is the directrix. So x, unlike earlier, we add h and p. So our directrix right now is, will subtract the p from the h. So 4 minus 1, that would be positive g. And then lastly, our latus rectum is 4p. So our p is 1, so let's multiply them. 4 times 1 is 4. So that's it, and that's how you get the properties from our general equation. So now let's try to solve for our general equation using some of our properties. So let's try v quantity 3 common negative 2, and then f focus quantity 3 comma negative 6. And then first things first is let's try to identify our H, K, and P so that we'll be able to transform them into our standard equation down to the general. So since the vertex is given, we can easily identify our H and K. So we'll just copy them. But first, as we observe, depending on our given, which is the vertex and focus, our y or k variable changes when it comes to our focus. That simply means that we are dealing with a vertical parabola. So let me just write it down and then continue now. So for our h, that would be 3. And then k, let's just copy them, -2. And then for our p, to be able to identify them, let's try to use our focus. So the formula of focus is F quantity H, comma, K minus, plus P. So let's try to use this. Then our K is -2 plus P. That will be equals to -6, which is the focus. So let's try to identify what's our P. So let's add our 2 on the other side, then change signs. Our P is -4. So now let's put the value of our P. So now let's try to write down our vertical parabola, the formula. Quantity x minus h squared is equals to 4p quantity y minus k. And then let's just use our values on our left side. So let's just substitute them. So x minus 3 quantity squared is equals to 4. Our p is -4 quantity multiplied by y minus k. So -2, that would be +2 now. So now let's try to multiply this first. Sorry. So 4 multiplied by -4, that would be -16. Multiplied by y plus 2. And then now let's try to expand this on our left hand side. So that would be x squared minus 6x plus 9. And then on our left hand side, let's distribute our -16. So that be -16y plus, -32. So now let's try to bring this on our left hand side. So let's just copy down x squared minus 6x plus 9, then plus 16y. So we'll change the sign since we transferred them. So plus 16y and plus 32 equals 0. So the next step is let us combine our like terms. So that would be 6x squared minus 6x plus 16y. And then 32 plus 9. So that would be plus 41 equals 0. So that's how we can get our general equation from the properties. So that's it. I hope you learned how to get the standard equation, properties, and general formula of our parabola.
So for the third conic section, we have ellipse. So by the definition of ellipse is a set of all points in a plane whose sum of distance from two fixed points cosine are constant. So considering ellipse, we have parts of so we have the center, we have the focus, color, and we have your axis, the color blue, and minor axis blue. So let us now consider the standard geometry. So considering standard form, so the standard form is x minus h squared, quantity squared over 2 squared, y minus k, quantity squared over squared is equals to 1. And so for the general formula, ax squared plus dy squared cx plus dy plus c is equals to 0. So considering the properties of vertical ellipse and horizontal ellipse, so we have the axis, we have vertical and horizontal. For the center, C quantity h comma same in horizontal. And for the foci, for the vertical h comma k plus or minus c, and for the horizontal h plus or minus c comma k. For the vertex, we have h comma k plus or minus b, and for the horizontal h plus or minus k comma, I mean h plus or minus a comma. For the co-vertex, we have h plus or minus a comma. For the horizontal, we have h comma k plus or minus. And for the major axis, we have for horizontal 2, for the horizontal 2a. Minor axis, we have 2a and vertical 2. So our first problem, we have the given of the center located 2 comma negative 5, the vertex on 6 comma negative vertex in 2, 2 comma negative. So to start, we are going to use the table of horizontal ellipse. So to start, solve for step h, then a, oh, so for a, chunky. So you can see the center is given. So which comma is having some. So we're just gonna copy and do where to. Next, we wanted to solve this. So based on the table, we can only find it using the major axis, which is not given in the example in the groups. So since the point of the vertices is given, therefore we can say so so H minus A is equals to 6 as we first do. So for the next step, we can choose arbitrarily positive or plus or minus. So choose 2 plus. So H plus is equals to 6. The next step which is so we have the part H we have 2. So we're just gonna substitute it. So we have 2 plus A is equals to 6. Considering the 2 plus A is equals to 6 will be A is equals to 1. So considering we have value of A 1, it is now considered finally. So to find the we just can simply do this one in A, but we're gonna use the co-vertex by using the y-axis, which is negative 8. So, so we're gonna use the h comma k plus or minus 3. So, so k plus minus 2 negative 8. So, same as the last two, we can use positive plus. So, it's 2 plus equals to negative 8. So same as we did earlier, we have the value of k, which is negative 5. So we will just simply just substitute it. So negative 5 plus equals to 8. So now we will consider x is equals to negative 3. So let us now substitute the values into the standard. So we're gonna do the standard choose x minus h quantity squared over q squared plus minus k conic squared over b squared equals to 1. So we're just going to start to check what we get here. So really minus h, which is b squared over a, which is 4 squared plus 4 plus y minus k, which is negative 5 conic squared over b squared, which is negative 3 squared is equals to 1. And so we will make the square. So the part will be squared by some star equation, so x minus 2 squared over square root of 16 plus y minus 5 squared over square root of 2, which is negative 1 7 to 1. So this is our sine. So now we just can apply some star equation. So it's going to be squared minus 2 squared over 16 plus y minus 5 squared over 9 is equals to 1. So we have standard. Switch to the general. So let's go to general. We just simply so to do that we multiply both sides by the IC. So to do that, let's say with 16 and 142. Yes. So next is divide sides down. So we got 1 minus 3 squared plus 16 squared plus 5 squared is equals to 140. So the next is to expand the binary by 10 values. So 9 squared minus 4 x is 4 plus 16 to 5 squared plus 1 plus 25 is equals to 40. Mm, So the next is we have to distribute the 9 and 16. So just mention to the 9 squared minus negative 56 x plus 26 plus 16 y squared plus 160 y plus 10 equals to 140. So the next is just move everything to the left hand side and some equations like highlight some. So x squared plus 16y squared minus 26 160 y plus 200 equals to 0. So we our general form from standard. So for the general to standard, to solve for the general to standard equation to get properties. So first step we'll just regroup this. So this going to turn to 2x raised to 2 minus 2x plus lamp plus 4y so squared minus 2y plus lamp minus 31. So the next step is to factor out 4. So we're just gonna do this. So let's say minus 2x plus 4 minus 8 minus 8 1 plus yeah plus 2 2 to 1. So since we're gonna simplify trinomial equation, so simply to get the sense we divide the middle part by 2. So oh sorry I was able to negative 2 because I factor out 2. So so next is equation of 1 plus 3 divided 2 to 1 and simply just add this to 2 plus 1 and this will reference 1 comes 4. So so as we can see it is already in squared so here we just gonna simply calculate so we'll x squared minus 2x plus 1. So it is already in perfect squared so next step is to factor it out so it is 22 minus 1 squared plus 4 plus 1 squared is equals to 36 and this is to simply divide it by such divided to 36 this also Mm. So next is this equation we're going to x minus 1 squared over 36 plus, so 4 and 36 has the tiny factors, so they should be cancelled out. So we can put it to y minus 1 over 2 raised to 2 over n over equals to 1. So, so next is to solve for the properties of this. Yep, so as we all know, this is a, yeah, yeah. So as we all know, this is horizontal. Yes, it's horizontal. And the center, which is given as the 1, the 1 and so equals to 1, comma 1. And for the full sign, you have to consider the A and B. So to get the 36 and so A is the square root of 36, which is 6. 33 square root of which is 3. So, and to get the C, we just simply add the subtract the 36 and 9, so 27, but to squared, so we get square root of 37, 37 itself. So to substitute it, the value of cosine will be 1 plus the square root of 27 comma 1, and for the next is 1 times the square root of 7, and that's it. And to get the vertex is also 6 plus 1, which is 7 comma 1, and so to subtract 1 minus 6, which is 25, from 6, and to get the co-vertex is just same with the vertex, but same. So I'm just going to copy the 1, comma 2 plus 1 equal 1 from 1 minus 3, which is negative 2, and that's it. So for the major and minor axis, so for the major axis, is to just square the A, yeah, square the to section 12, and for the minor axis, section 2, which is the square root of 3, which is 6. So, standard, generally standard looking properties. So,
Hello there, my name is Franz Joshua Di Cristobal. Thank you for watching this video. This video is all about hyperbola, so let's get this going. A hyperbola is a conic section defined as a set of all points where the absolute difference of the distance to two fixed points, being the foci, is a constant positive value. Here is an illustration of a hyperbola, so you could get an idea of what I'm talking about. This is an example of a horizontal hyperbola, because you can see that the two figures are located at the horizontal axis. The standard form of hyperbola. A horizontal hyperbola, the equation for that, or the standard form for that, will be the quantity of x minus h squared all over a squared minus y minus k squared all over b squared equals 1. And for a vertical hyperbola, it will be given by the equation of the quantity of y minus k squared all over b squared minus x minus h, the quantity of x minus h squared all over a squared equals to 1. And for its general form, it will be a x squared plus b y squared plus c x plus d y plus e equals to 0. This is the table of properties for a hyperbola. Given the axis horizontal, the center will be at h comma k, the vertex will be at h plus minus a comma k, the covertex will be at h comma k plus minus b, the foci will be h plus minus c comma k, the transverse axis would be 2a, the conjugate axis would be 2b, and the lattice rectum will be 2b squared all over 8. For a vertical hyperbola, the center will be at h comma k, vertex will be at h comma k plus minus b, the covertex will be at h plus minus a comma k, the foci will be at h comma k plus minus c, the transverse axis will be 2b, the conjugate axis will be 2a, and the lattice rectum will be 2a squared all over b. Just a tip for remembering this. I would recommend memorizing it, but I would recommend understanding it. So for vertex, for something like this, for vertex, I just remember that h is always partnered with a, and k is always partnered with b. Okay, and for the foci, whatever is the type of axis, like for example, if it's a horizontal axis, then we will be adding c to the to h, and if it's a vertical axis, we'll be adding c to the to the to k. So basically, that's just a quick tip, and that's basically it. For this, we will turn a standard form hyperbola into general form. So first, we multiply these two. 16 times 4, this will become 64. We just multiply everything by that, 64. So let's just write this. 64 y plus 2 squared over 16 minus x plus, 64 is x plus 3 squared Well, 4 equals to 64. Yeah. Multiply 64 here, multiply 64 there. Then this cancels out because we're going to divide with this. So 64 divided by 16, that will become 4. 4 divided by 64 divided by 4, that will become 16. So yeah, let's just write this again. 4y plus 2 squared minus 16x plus 3 squared equals to 64. After that, we will be expanding these two terms, these two square terms. So let's just do that. We will expand this using the FOIL method. So 4y squared is 4 times the quantity of y squared plus 4y plus 4, then minus 16 and x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals to 64. So after we expand that, the next step will be distributing. We distribute 4 here, distribute negative 16 there. So let's just do that. So we got 4y squared plus 16y plus 16 minus negative 16x squared. Let me just, distribute. 16 times 6, that would be 18, 96. Negative 96x. Then 16 times 9. 144. Negative 144 equals to 64. That's what we will have. And after this, we just basically combine. We put 64 right here. So yeah, this will become negative 64. So let's just solve. This will become negative 16 x squared plus 4y squared plus, minus 96x plus 16y. Then just combine all of this, 16, 144, and negative 64. So let's just do that. 64 plus 144, 148, 208. 208 minus 16. This will be done. 2, then 192. Is that correct? Yeah. This will go minus 192 equals 20. And that's it. You will now have the general form for this standard form. So let's just double check. Exactly. See? That's the same thing. Okay, the next thing that we will do is to turn this general form into standard form. By the way, this is the same equation that we solved for, that we've turned from standard to general form. Since I already know that this is a vertical hyperbola, I'm just gonna do the y terms first, so it's not confusing. So first step is to group all the like terms, group the x and group the y, then move 192 to this side. Okay, so let's just do that. So it's gonna be 4y squared plus 16y plus 16x squared minus 96x equals to 192. After this, we can observe that this is divisible by 4, so we can factor out 4. It's going to be 4 comma y squared plus 4y plus blank. Then this also divisible by negative 16, so this will become negative 16 x squared minus 6x plus blank equals to 192. Then after this, we just complete the square. So 4 divided by 2 right here, times 2. So 4, then, squared. So negative 6x, or 3, 6 divided by 2 is 3, then square that, it's going to be 9. And after this, we multiply this to this and this to this. So I'm going to write it 4 multiplied by 4, then negative 16 multiplied by 9. This just equals this. And it's going to become 4 times 4. That's going to be 16. So 192 plus 16. So that's going to be 198, 208. 208 minus 16 times 9, which is 144. Negative 144. So 208 minus 144. 56, 64. It's going to be 64. It's going to be equal to 64. Oops. Then after that, we're just gonna factor all of this, just make it into a binomial. So yeah, it's gonna be 4 y plus 2 squared, then negative 16. It's gonna be x minus 3 squared. That's what we have now. And after doing all this, we're gonna divide all of it by 64. So 64. So let's just do that. So it's gonna be like this. So let's put the minus right there. It's gonna be 16 divided by 64. So this x minus 3 squared, then 4 plus 64 y plus 2 squared. It'll look something like that. Then let's just cancel these out, just divide. So 64 divided by 4, that's 16 all over y plus 2 squared, minus 16 divided by 64 is going to become 4. Then all over x minus 3 squared equals to 1. And that's it. We now have the standard form. And to double check, I'm just going to look at this again. See? Isn't that cool? So, yeah. That's how you turn hyperbola from general to standard form. The next thing that we will do is to get the properties of hyperbola given its standard form. Here we have an example of a hyperbola that is a vertical. So that means we will be using this for our solving. Okay? So let's do it. The first thing I do is solve for c. It's the value of c is given by the equation c squared equals a squared plus b squared. So let's just do that. A squared plus b squared. Oops, sorry. So let's just use those values. So a is 4, a squared is equal to 4, so 16. So c squared. So let's get the square root of both sides. Oops. So this will become 20, so it's going to be square root of 20, and this will become c. So c equals the square root of 20. And let's just get everything that we will need in solving this. H and k. That's it. So a is the square root of 4, just 2. And b is the square root of 16, just 4. And h is 3. And k is 2. So let's just solve this let's solve first for the center. The center is given at h comma k. So it's going to be 3 comma 2. The vertex or the vertices is at h comma k plus minus b. So v that's gonna be h comma sorry, oops, not h. It's supposed to be 3 comma 3 comma. Okay, k plus minus b. So it's 2 plus 2 minus b, 4, 4. This is 6, and this is negative 2. Negative 2. So this is negative 2, and this is 6. So after that, let's solve for the covertex, covertices. It's given at h plus minus a. So 3 plus 3 minus a is 2, 2 is 5, and this is 1. What is that? Uh, After that, let's just write this. It's k. So 2, 2, and 5, then 1. Next, after this is to get the foci. So the foci is given by h comma k plus minus c. So let's give a little room here. So 3 comma 3 comma. So it's k plus minus c. So 2 plus square root of 20. Square root of 20. And it's 2 minus the square root of 20. That's our foci. Next thing that we'll solve for is the transverse axis, which is 2b. So b times 2 is 4. I mean, b times 2 is 8, because 4 times 2. So it's going to be 8. And the conjugate is 2a. So it's going to be 4. So 2 times 2 is 4. So 4. Then the lattice rectum. So 2a squared is going to be 2 times 4 all over b is 4. So 8 divided by 2. Oh, sorry. 8 divided by 4. That is 2. So the lattice rectum equals 2. So basically, that's it. This is our answer. All right.